It's time for your November events live stream recap in hopefully less than 20 minutes. This was a 1 hour, 15 live stream with a lot of information. A lot of things are hyped for the next month and second month. Some stuff around the Banquet event, a surprise return by Brian Grant, as well as some other stuff as well. And a build up to Summoners Fest. Let's do the recap. First of all, Karate Mike kicked off the show with talking about a lot of things, including the Rebalance program, going over information about the system, the new system being very much under wraps, Nico and Spider Woman being safe, talks of anxiety around player base when it comes to getting new champions and investing in them, and also the fear around it. And there's more stuff revealed about Summoners Fest, which will kind of add a bit of spice to proceedings, of course. Of course, the usual things started off with the live stream. They went over things like the Twitch drops, which to my knowledge and in game at the moment have all come in, which is very, very nice. The saga, as we know, is going on quite nicely with lots of things coming on, like Alliance War Encounter Showcase coming in November, Saga themed meta event, and of course Cyber Weekend deals, as well as Saga Incursions, all the stuff I think we all knew about. There was also talk about the new buff that's coming in as a result of the Cure, which you can see on screen right now. That is obviously benefits from us kind of getting involved as the way we did. There was also a few other kind of little bits of information about just going over old ground, battlegrounds and stuff like that. And that's all well and good. The first bit of spice came very early on with this right here. Yes, there is a buff that's coming into the Battleground store. I don't think this is going to satisfy a lot of players, but this will at least give certain players, depending on progression, I'd say with this, possibly depending on the price of the trophy tokens, tier 7 basic catalyst fragments, as well as 7-star generic signature stones and tier 3 class alloys, which allow you to strengthen a lot of your stat cast, relics, and roster around progression and prestige, which I know is a big a big thing for a lot of players. Alliance War, the big thing, returns back in that kind of off-season time frame, which I was questioning about in the recent MCN, about what we're going to do through there, and maybe because nobody wants to really play over the holiday period. They want to relax and not have the stress of MCOC, but that is what it is when it comes to life. But that's returning back, and also looks to be same, but also have a 1 fight per summoner kind of thing with it, which I think is actually really darn good. But we'll see if that's going to be the case and whether it's going to be enjoyable for a lot of players. Alliance War Encounters back, ladies and gentlemen. So if you like that, then at least you've got that fun element to it, as well as the Alliance War Showcase. There is a slight buff to all of this, and there's minion crystals that have been added into it as well for those chasing, as well as Invade Essence for anybody chasing the idol, which I think this is the Imperiosa one, but I can't remember if that's the case. There's also more beneficial nodes for the showcase, as well as a slight rewards buff, which Kabam have put in as well. I think more so with Alliance War Encounter, because the Alliance War Showcase, or the Saga Champion Showcase, is a little bit different on that one, and that's using your fantastic champions. Is going to be a very busy November for stuff to do, and of course a lot to cover and put guides together and all that lovely stuff. We've got the return back of the Founders War Incursions, which again is another nice thing. I do like the Saga Incursions more than I like, say, the Steve one, and that's just because sometimes the nodes can be ass, or there was a situation where you needed an immunity and you just weren't getting it, so you were then just kind of facing up against a poison champion, and because you didn't have the immunity or an option of a champion to counter, you were then ultimately screwed. Anyway, enough about me. Sob story rich, I know. So this December, we are going to see the Founders War Incursions. Yes, it's not November, but Kabam have tipped it early on of what it's going to have, including the Invade Essence, as well as if you're choosing to chase that particular champion, if you want to lower down your spend of said champions as well. With the old Incursions returning back to the way it was on that December 31st. Next up, and something new and exciting, is going to be the new Towers type event. Top of the charts, new Towers game mode. It does look good. I am actually really looking forward to this, but it's not necessarily a tower climb vertically. It's more of a kind of a map weave, which we're going to see. It's time attacked, and you do feel that there's going to be some decent stuff around the getting champions at full health back as you go to a champion choice. side by side with kind of like the climb. So we're just going to run a little bit of the video right now, which you can see on screen. So you can see that you're doing the fight there. It's timed mission, so you've got a time kind of limit of like 1 minute or whatever minute that you've got. I don't really know yet because we haven't seen the mode, but you can see what's on screen right now. Getting an intercept in does allow you to build up fury, and I think this might actually be a fun sub mode that could be put into the game, kind of like solo raids, which I think could be a little bit fun. Either way, this does look very interesting. We don't know about the rewards just yet, and I'm sure that'll be something we'll be covering here on the channel later on today or over the weekend when that information drops. But it does look fun. Speed is the focus, and of course going into fight by fight, depending on what champions you choose, and then the advantage of going with a new champion that is fully health is something quite nice. If you do get knocked out, you will be able to come back in again as another opportunity. There's no revives with this. It's just like you just get to like redo it again to see if you can actually get through it using some of your best champions or the most logical champions to get through. So that's going to be, and I don't know that there's the constraints about the right champion. It's all about the right type of situation of play, which kind of like seems a bit more fairer and a bit more fun. But we'll see what happens when this mode drops later on next month, early on next month, sorry. Deadpool has got a little event that's coming. Don't know about the rewards yet. We'll have a look at that later on here on the channel. But we've got like a Rift-style gameplay, which is kind of cool. It's kind of fun, maybe a little bit kind of randomized in what you pick up rewards-wise. And so you've got a path selector. So yeah, Rifts are back in some sort of shape or form. So I guess that's fun at the same time. Kabam also went over Pravita Pavaka, which I've probably said wrong. Sorry to those in India. So with this champion, it's you're building up your mystic webs, and they're like traps, and you don't make contact with cosmic champions, which is great as well. Non-contact hits or energy or whatever it is. Power steals when the enemy gets a buff, and buff suppresses, meaning this could be a very good champion to counter Dark Phoenix. Lo and behold, funny that, isn't it? Counter comes out for paid. You can pay to get the counter to the champion that you paid to get as a defender. Anyway, he's still good. Like regardless of kind of the sarcasm there, he looks really good. Build vulnerabilities, bait, dash, push through web to do spider seals, SP2 for burst damage, and you're doing a heck of a lot of burst damage with an SP2 on the ramp. You can see there's the SP2 launching on screen, and boom. That's 224k burst damage. That's very, very nice. He does have neutralize, which works well against cosmics. I think it's like an instant neutralize, or it's when they activate a buff, which is it's much more efficient than other ways of neutralize. So yeah, I think that this is going to be a lot of fun, and I think a lot of players are going to really enjoy kind of getting this champion, adding it to your roster. There was a live bit of play for the champion, which we'll put a little bit on screen right now. You can see that. Looks good, honestly. December 11th for the crystals, and of course the grabbing of it from the token trading on whatever it is. And then you've got later on, I think 18th of December for the champions. Is it 18th of December? That seems a bit wrong. Oh, it is 18th of December. Yeah. For that champion. Some weird stuff going on with that, and a lot more reveals and things. Okay, what up next? Lizard. Okay, so Lizard's a lot of fun as well. Build power with ruptures, buff immune when doing specials, poison immune, heal block immune when buff is active or unstoppable, gets regen when struck, and it's passive, which is very handy. Unstoppable, unblockable, of course, strike to get ruptures, dex and SP2 bursts, SP3 rotations do more bursts, and a tracking debuff, miscountering, which is good when intercepting. And I think there's some other thing as well, like if you're unstoppable, but yeah, it's just good to have that on because it's a good counter for the likes of Ebony Moore. So yeah, honestly, a really strong champion. You can see there, another burst damage type champion, very effective and very fun. I think a lot of people are going to be very excited for this, and a mix of various champions right here with how this champion works, operates, ruptures, burst damages, and stuff like that. Burst damage is the way, my friends, with that one. There was a little bit of live gameplay and a little bit of go over of the champion, but we've just said exactly what it is right there, but that's a little bit there to read. So Kabam have also said on the Grandmaster's Grace that will continue, and first appearance cosmetics I think are going to be within here on a regular basis, but we'll have to kind of like see what the future holds with that. Kabam also went over briefly the Idol champions, and in particular the final one, which is Imperiosa. As we know, the class is confirmed as being a cosmic champion. So yeah, I don't know if we've seen the abilities of the champion yet. Maybe that's something yet to come. So, moving our attention more to November, we do have Cassie Lang. Cassie Lang is going to be a 7-star coming in on November 18th because, of course, having the Idol needs a replacement option as a secondary champion for that one. A lot of champions damage-wise is very, very impressive, especially off an SB2. I'm not a big fan of the playstyle, but look, I know that some people are going to be incredibly happy with what they see right here. Just the ramp looks like super fun to do. As you're getting hit, you miss, you're the smaller kind of Cassie Lang in the bottom left-hand corner. It's the ramp up to the SP2 that is the most important thing. So as you're building up all those lovely power stings, and they're very nice power stings, it's further down the line with that big kind of like crit damage. That's all the spicy for it. I think I'll just try and see if I can. Damn it, I just missed it on that little clip right there. I think we can get it back up so we can actually see that particular moment where it's just like 45k, 45k, 45k. Here it is. Look at that. I think it's more than that. Like, that's impressive damage right there. So we then move on to Cyber Weekend event. Kabam have said like there's a big Cyber Weekend event in terms of like what champions are going to be and also the functionality around value for money. There's going to be a CCP promo code, which again is cool, but I haven't heard anything about it just yet, and I'm sure I will do further down the line. However, when it comes to what's the structure, it's Yondu and it's Super Scroll, which I do find a little bit weird as the chase 7-stars from this. I personally would have liked the likes of Kingpin or Doctor Doom as being more of a kind of a spicier edge for those that spend and also for those that non-spend. But if they don't come out this year, I'm just going to like farm lots more units next year and put a bit more effort into kind of like grabbing them if they become 7-stars released. There's going to be a WebStorm milestone track, which hopefully will allow players to, for a lower cash amount of offer, to grab these champions as 7-stars. Maybe people won't spend as much, but maybe people might be focused on the rank up bundles and items that might come through this. So 10k and 15k apparently the price points for this so far. We'll have to figure out what's going to happen in the coming weeks as we kind of look to do predictions and look at the structure of the event in general. The solo event that comes with this one is also interesting because it will allow you to get some nice stuff, you know, for a lower cost, but there may be some free stuff like 14 tokens when you log in each day to get a token over the course of November 21st to December 5th. Now, that could mean the Cyber Weekend deals have been changed because if we go back a little bit to the original side of things, that's the thing that interests me as well. The Regal Ravages event is November 21st. This is actually one day after my birthday, so I'm interested in kind of when this is released, and it looks like Kabam wants to kind of allow the sales to run longer, which is another questionable thing, but that's something, again, saved for another video and another day. So hopefully we can get something, especially as non-spending players, that's nice for us, but we may not get it. There's bundles, there's trade-in, there could be some decent stuff, and also apparently there's enough to get a rank 4 champion at 200 signature, which we'll believe it when I see it. But like I said, personally, I would have liked to have seen more spicier champions, but I know Super Scroll and Yondu have been recently buffed. Next up, we have seen, and Kabam did a little VT, but Jane Foster Thor is actually getting another buff. She's getting a rework. This actually is a second buff, not to be confused with the fact that people have said that she's had more buffs. This is a second. Shock passives, she gets crits, stuns, stuns with heavies after combo ending attacks, nullifies buffs, power gain passive, and she kind of works in a similar way to like, say, Nebula or Shuri in the way that she's able to transfer over her passive shocks, which she has 100% resistance to, and then throws it onto the enemy. So it's kind of like a mix between the two. And the Fervor helps out with doing more damage as well, as we know Fervor does, what Fervor does with it. I think that's going to be it for Jane Foster. Oh, there's a little bit of a screen there if you want to check out the abilities of the champion. There was a big amount of stuff that went into a Banquet event, kind of like Teased. Yeah, Banquet event is going to return back. It's got a similar but different structure to it, and it's got like those Glorious Guardians type champions, and we're going to see that in a minute. I personally still want to see a Banquet Nexus Crystal, but I don't think Kabam will ever do that. Should you save your units? We didn't really get that indication if you should do that or not. I think it's just down to you and your personal choice of stuff. Maybe save back about 5k to 10k, but we've been bitten by this before with the hopes around the Banquet event. So there is a structure to this that with Jane Foster 4 releasing, there's going to be 2 reworks and 4 first-time 7-star champions. My hope is that skill section is devoted to Kingpin, but I've been stung by this before with kind of like hoping around stuff. We definitely know that Nimrod is going to be one of those champions, which you can see on screen right now, as one of the 7 stars that are being, well, I don't know if it's been reworked. It hasn't necessarily been, like I said, it will or won't, but it could be. But yeah, there was a little VT that was run for the champion, but also there's something more. Kabam also putting in as part of the Realm event, Kabam confirming there's a Realm event for this, a Absorbing Man as a 7-star release, what I haven't done before, as well as a skill release of a 7-star, which again, exciting times. That could be Kingpin, or it may not. We'll have to really see what happens with the future with it. There's apparently going to be a selector and maybe a web tracker, but we'll have to figure out if there's any extras that are going to be on offer. And the champ release cadence is going to be very much like over socials over a length of time. You can see right here for the champions listed. Summoners Fest live stream, you're going to get one of them, and then on socials and in the December live stream, there will be more. There will be more revealed within that particular stuff. So looking forward to that. The Banquet event, in theory, does look good, but it's not. It's the items. It's the Banquet event crystal that we need more information about. But what you're shooting for is kind of like we're having little reveals here and there. Summoners Fest. Kabam went over Summoners Fest and some details associated with that. There's, in terms of like spice, right? There is spice. There's freebies. There's Twitch drops. The Twitch drops look like this. There's more to this, by the way. It's not just this, what you see on screen. There's a lot more. You've got to be there for like 10 a.m. I think it might be a long stream. If we're talking like 10 a.m. to, I think, like 5 p.m., that's a 7-hour stream that Kabam will be doing. We might do that like here on the channel. I'm figuring out the time frame of like how much I can stay on for without kind of falling asleep. But there's a lot of stuff that's going to be kind of like added to there on it. There is going to be an event, bottom left-hand corner, MCOC The Evolution Begins. That kind of's been revealed by Dave as being more of a roadmap, which I think is very good and very exciting, as well as the Battle Realm Brawls, which are on both days, and of course with the closing. And some fun stuff as well. In between the streams, there's going to be these special little AFKO like pair-ups, which you can see on screen. So the first round has already been done. The second round is then yet to come. And these are kind of treated more as a kind of a palate cleanser between matches. So take it as you come with that one and what you kind of like feel around this particular event. I take it or leave it. I did think that there were some things I like the concept of it. The execution's a bit weird. I would have liked the idea if people at the Battle Realm Brawl it was like if this champion, like a bingo card, maybe something like that, and if they fought one another. But anyway. There was an interesting VT confirming the return back of Brian Grant. I don't know necessarily if this is a full Brian Grant return, but this was fun, right? It's very much reminiscent of that Logan Paul video, when he kind of like came back after doing the kind of the Japanese forest thing. Everybody in the internet knows about that. But this was a funny little video, and it kind of heralds a little type of event. This might be I honestly, like, for the bit, I must give massive props to Brian, because like going in that water, it's probably freezing cold. And I suspect he did it as the last shot, because it wouldn't make sense to be absolutely wet through there on the final shot of that one. Anyway, there was a good kind of like back and forth funny bit with Brian, and of course he went to Kabam. Like, I don't know what Brian's up to nowadays, but anyway, this was a cool little VT and a cool little moment. And there is a potential unusual egg that you've got to watch out for event coming in. Well, I don't know when it's coming. It could be next month. It could be December. But that's cool. That's cool. And Karat Mike there he is, Karat Mike in the bottom right-hand corner. If you've watched the video, you'll know that reference. It's going to be, it is November that is coming in. So yes, that is that, as I get my breath back and say like, yes, I actually did it. This is less than 20 minutes, 1 hour, 15 live stream, condensed down to 20 minutes. You saw it all on screen, right? The write-up will be in the description, as it always is every single month, if you want to kind of read up like the type up of it. And yeah, if you were expecting some stuff from this to like huge announcements, then from in terms of game stability and stuff, you're probably not going to see it. In terms of hype for new things coming to the game, I think you got it there. But we need that stuff that's probably saved for Summoners Fest next week. So we'll cover that when that's out. Thank you very much for watching this live stream recap video for the November live stream and November events, and also December and Banquet stuff. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.